The sun is rising at a more spring-like angle, because one of the first signs that I see is when it's reflected off this wall. And this morning when I got up, it was reflected and even into the sitting room a little bit. It's very cold, very clear, very frosty. The ground is frozen. The birds woke me up. They were just in a chorus outside my bedroom window, almost calling to me to come out and feed them. I think all the stocks that I'd put out had been depleted. So over these cold days, where the ground has been frozen, I've taken the opportunity to clean up some of the leaves, and you can see where I've cleaned up around here and tidied up, all part of the general Immock tidy and, you know, getting into that spring energy. Just see how blue that sky is up there. Of course, the more blue the sky at this time of the year, the colder it is. And even the flowers and the rhododendron are sort of holding back a little bit, don't really want to be coming out fully. And I've also been cutting back, so I've cut back a lot of the dead foliage you can see around this veranda and the steps. The steps are visible for the first time in months because, of course, you know, I leave all the debris from the trees, all the leaves, and I let them be for most of the, for all of the winter and for some of the spring. And I still allow little bits like this just to stay put, because a lot of the insects are sort of harbouring in these places. And then I continued the clean up and the tidy up just down along this little border of shrubs and plants next to the west gable of the cottage. So little by little, it's all beginning to look rather beautifully spring-like. Do you remember back in the early autumn when I started to do the chop and drop in on this little area, which had become very overgrown with the rubus? And of course people talk about plants that overtake. And I am always saying no such thing. It's a matter of actually caretaking the land. So this is now a very good result here, because you can see where I've done the chop and drop, and it has kept this little area beautifully clear. It's not difficult to do. There's always this beautiful enchantment, this feeling of enchantment, walking down into the fairy wood. Because of course it's in a dell, and therefore it's a microclimate. So that's the scientific explanation of it. Of course there is a more ethereal representation of this, which is what appeals to me and what resonates with me and what connects with me the most. And it's not something one can readily or easily explain, but it is something that one can show through the lens. And very occasionally at this time of the year, when nature is doing her own housekeeping and cleaning, which is what the wind does, and the longer days and the sunshine, there's a beautiful tidying up going on and clearing up. And at this time of the year you begin to see things that you don't normally see at other times, such as this mound of stones and big slabby stones that seem to cover something. I've never looked too closely at that. It's underneath a fairy tree and just left it. But it is very enchanting. But we humans can be too inquisitive. We want answers to things and explanations. But sometimes they're just best left. And of course it's the light, isn't it? The light, always the light. And to see the light just settling into this part of the fairy wood again tells you something. It tells you something that meteorology or science really can't explain, because of course meteorologically this isn't even spring yet. There's a sight to behold. Look at all the beautiful blissy willow, catkins, little flowers out on the willow. Bealtaine Cottage is surrounded by a landscape where traces of ancient peoples are to be found with ease. The Tuatha Dé Danann were one of these ancient races and were also known as the Shining Ones. This ancient race of people are a vital part of the landscape and mythology of this area of Ireland. But, few people are aware of the fact that it was these people, this tribe, who became the origins of what we know worldwide as the fairies or the Sidhe. This was the tribe that became the Sidhe, the fairy folk. It's merely recorded that they appeared as the clouds rose from the mountain of Slieve in Erin on the day of Bealtaine, the first day of May, summer. That's from the book In Search of the Goddess Rising. And that's what I really felt this morning as I was wandering with ease through the wood, through the fairy wood, looking up at the beautiful willow. Just amazing. And the light, oh my goddess, the light. It was amazing. But you can see that here in these photographs that I'm sharing with you. The light is part of the enchantment. It's a very special light here in the west of Ireland. I think being so near the ocean, there's a lovely reflective quality as well. So blessings to you all. Blessings to you all, my friends, on this beautiful, beautiful spring day. And I hope you enjoyed your walk with me through the woods of Bealtaine Cottage.